Untitled.com here for a head-to-head matchup of the Siberian Alpha Series 65 quart versus the Techni Ice 64 quart. In a past challenge, the Siberian 65 quart was the best cooler that we tested to date, and the Techni Ice wasn't far behind in that challenge. However, it was a 45 quart cooler. So now we've got a larger cooler, so they're almost identical, 65 and 64 quart, and we want to match them up to see who is king of the hill. These coolers have been pre-chilling for 24 hours now. I went to the marina yesterday and got ice, so the ice came from the same location. We put them in about the same time yesterday, pre-chilled them, just drained them down and topped them back up with ice, as you're probably seeing now, and we put in 2 beverages. The beverages allow you at home to see as the ice melt progresses, and it simulates actual use when we rotate the beverages 3 times a day from top to bottom, bottom to top, and we take temperature readings so that we see the progression of the ice melt. Now, when we ran this test previously, the Siberian lasted almost 8 days, or a little over 8 days, I think. So it's going to be a long challenge. We will take temperature readings and video this every day, but for the sake of your sanity, we will fast forward to the end of this challenge. But we want to give you a look on the inside to see that these coolers are in fact filled to capacity with ice. As you look here on my right hand side, your left, we have also the thermometers, internal and external. So right now 86 degrees on the lid of this cooler and 43 degrees on the inside. And as you take a look on the inside, like I said, filled to capacity with ice, and then 2 beverages, and we'll rotate them 3 times a day from top to bottom, bottom to top. Next up is the Techni Ice, again 64 quart cooler. Same principle applies here. We top these things back up with ice, 40 degrees on the inside because we put the thermometer in there a little bit earlier, and 85 degrees on the outside, filled to capacity, and the 2 beverages on top. So now that you've seen that the coolers are in fact filled to capacity with ice and 2 beverages, that's the setup here. We will pick back up tomorrow morning for a 24-hour update. After 10 days, we finally reached the end of this test between the Siberian Alpha Series 65 quart and the Techni Ice Signature Series 64 quart. It took over 10 days to reach the end of this test. The Techni Ice made it about 10.5 days, and the Siberian Alpha Series 65 about 9.5 days. So we had a difference of roughly a day between the two. As you'll see in the time lapse of the progression of this test, these coolers were incredibly close all the way down to the wire, where the Techni Ice squeaked it out with a few slivers of ice that remained throughout the day, which gave it roughly an extra day. Every day during this test, the lids of both of these coolers were reaching 100 degrees plus. I think the highest that I saw was 111 in the afternoon. So really warm, and to go 9 days is really impressive with both of these coolers. You really can't go wrong with either choice. They're 2 different style coolers. This one is a shorter, wider body versus a taller, narrower body. So keep that in mind, and I want to bring that up because it's really applicable if you're going to keep this in the back of your truck. For me, this cooler fits in the back of my truck with the tonneau cover closed, whereas this Techni Ice doesn't. It's too tall. So there's different considerations other than just ice retention times that you need to make if you're buying a cooler and you're going to put it in a travel trailer, in a truck, in a boat. So keep that in mind. One other thing that someone asked me is, are these coolers watertight? So I want to test this. I'm just going to lean this cooler forward. We still have all the water left in it from the ice test, so we'll lean this forward and you'll see if there's any water that leaks out. I don't see anything coming out of that. Nothing coming out of that. You can probably hear that water sloshing around. So that's the Siberian, and we'll come over to the Techni ice and do that next. A little bit of water coming out of that Techni ice, so keep that in mind. And again, I can't say that for sure because the Techni ice actually has some tape on the inside of this that might be affecting that seal. So let's try that again to see if we can get something to come out of that, because a little bit, but you would really have to have some pretty violent shakes and movements to get that water to come out. For the most part, they're holding the water in, and I bring that up because we just finished filming the Lifetime Products 55 quart. If you want to check that video, I'll link it in the description below. When I picked the cooler up to move it, I got completely soaked, so it isn't watertight. So there is a difference going from a more inexpensive cooler to a higher end cooler like you're seeing here. So that's a wrap of the Siberian Alpha Series 65 versus the Techni Ice Signature Series 64 quart. We're gonna have a full write-up of this challenge as well as individual reviews of each of these coolers in the description below. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it's what helps us to keep going. And coolersonsale.com will be back with more videos next time. We'll go ahead and drain these down right now.